really excited to be here, playing another week into our season. We definitely have a lot of goals as a program, and this is one of them, to be sitting here today. So excited to be hosting the University of Georgia, Class C program. We know them pretty well, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and definitely a dogfight for sure. It's going to be a tough one for us, but I'm excited for the weekend ahead.
When you guys get into postseason competition, a lot of the time you guys tend to run into a lot of SEC teams. I guess, and this being another SEC opponent, is there anything that you guys, have seen from other teams in the past year that to key in on, or I guess what do these teams bring?
I think for us, being in the region that we're in, we know that we're going to play SEC regular season, or regionals and super regionals get matched up. I think we play a really tough schedule for that reason. We try to challenge ourselves to know what we're capable of week in and week out. That's a big part of it too. I think for our players too, they know each other really well, so it's not really an SEC, ACC thing. It's more of playing at this level that we want to play at. So I think that fully prepared. I'm really proud of our conference right now, and knowing that Clemson and Duke are getting after this weekend also, because that really, again, makes our every weekends tough, which has been the motto of the SEC, the toughest conference. And you can say that when you have a lot of teams in postseason. Well, now we're starting to belly up to the bar a little bit and being able to say that too. So I know that we're facing really good pitching and really good hitters and being in a lot of those big moments. And for us and our fan base has been outstanding, because now we are adding atmosphere to the games, and we got that with Clemson, we got that with Vautech a little bit too. So some of the things that in the past have not been a part of a SEC atmosphere are now part of all softball atmospheres. So JJ can be in the outfield and she has people yelling at her. 5 years ago, that's feeling unique. Now it's Clemson was right in her ear, in the outfield. And so it's going to be nothing different for environments for us and going in the World Series. So fully prepared for this.
Coach, if this season goes the way you want it, you'll finish playing a best 2 out of 3 in Oklahoma City. Is there something about the super regional format, best 2 out of 3, that's unique or more challenging or more equitable in terms of the entire tournament?
I think that we as an organization have been really trying to make sure that we put forth the best softball possible on TV. So as you start to get into the best 2 out of 3, you're able to make adjustments, you're able to learn. Game 1 is a big chess match in the sense that, of course, we want the win, but you're gathering a lot of information and it doesn't end up being the end all be all for the weekend. So we had that chat in here yesterday as a team, can we get good information regardless of the outcome on opening day, and then be able to make the adjustments. But the best 2 out of 3 is something we fought for in our conference, not playing those doubleheaders. That was a big thing a long time ago, is doubleheader, single. Then we opened it up to 3-game series, get good rest. If we are putting the best softball on TV, the world's going to start to like softball. And if you're trying to play a doubleheader and then a game the next day, it's not good softball, and we can't get the world behind it. And now you're getting a lot of people loving softball. We are playing a good game of softball. Strategy's becoming a big part of it, and it rolls right into what the World Series is going to offer us too.
Coach, you mentioned TV. You guys are ESPN2 tomorrow night, ESPN Friday night. The growth of the game since you've been in it, just how nice is it to see it get the attention that it deserves?
I always joke, I think I have one VHS tape of me playing for 2 innings, from way back in the day. And I also joke too, Jessie Warren was here this last weekend, and I remember going to the World Series with Jessie, and she made a couple plays, and a lot of people in press conference were like, wow, you surprised? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not surprised. We see that every day by Jessie. You guys are seeing these guys make plays all the time because now there's media coverage. And so what used to be in baseball is, I want to be like Ken Griffey, I want to be like this. Well, people can say that now because they're seeing it, and it's super cool to see the game grow in all levels on that side, because that only benefits our sport to want to be a Jahni or want to be a Dev, right? And they get to see that. So really proud of it. I push it as much as I can. These guys are pushing it as much as they can to give younger girls in the sport the opportunity to grow. So very thankful for ESPN. Also know that they've been really good with us. ESPN's come to our Coaches Association. They've asked for what they need, and we are willing as an organization to do what they need to make sure that we can sit in the slots and the windows that are offered to us to be able to showcase our games. So we're really working hard together to make that happen.
in scouting Georgia, what in particular stands out about them, and why are they in the position they are this weekend playing you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they swing the bats pretty good. They do a really good job of, home runs. I think we faced that with Vautech. We got that a little bit Oklahoma. So we have a taste of it as a defense and a pitching staff right now, what we're going into with the way they swing it. They've got really good different looks pitching wise. So, they've got some velocity. They got some changeups, good rise ball. So we as hitters offensively have to put to plan. But again, nothing we haven't seen in 60 games, It's just a matter of execution right now and making sure that we can execute. So facing South Carolina, who got hot towards the end of the season and made a run in the SEC tournament, I think Georgia has really kicked in the end of the season here too and put together really good games and multiple, runs, innings. They're putting up crooked numbers on some innings right now and putting that to the test for other teams to defend. So that would be our job on the pitching and defensive side to really try to negate some big innings on their side.
Following up on that, you mentioned Virginia Tech, Georgia, both top 5 in home runs. How important for your pitchers is to hit their spots knowing that they'll make you pay for mistakes?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. I mean, definitely you want to do what you do, so nothing is more important right now than just competing in the circle. They've got to compete. And I think, having your defense behind you and selling out for what we've been doing all season long is hugely important. We got to give different looks. When you have a home run team and a team that scores a lot, you've got to be able to give different looks and be able to expand your zone as a pitcher, but then utilize your pitching staff. And we've been able to do that all season. And I think that's going to be something that's going to require these next couple games to do what we need to do.
Yeah, but when you guys have a day like you did the last game of the regional, last day of the regional, we didn't score a lot of runs. Did you guys, how much of that was a credit to their pitching? How much of it was things maybe you guys weren't doing? And I know you guys had some opportunities that just didn't cash in. How did you guys come away from that day?
Yeah, I mean, tip your cap to South Carolina. We knew they had good pitchers. We knew they had a lot of different looks. We came in with a game plan. Obviously didn't really go our way the first game. Just came back, regrouped. Knew that we kind of just had to get that one run across the board. We talk a lot about our identity as an offense and what works for us. And I think at this point in the season, we have a pretty good idea of what we need to do to win ball games and what we need to do to back up our pitchers. So that was really just it. We were all really just focused on team softball, like how do we get that one across the board. So that was kind of our plan. And it's funny just how it ended up happening, like Jahni laying that bunt down, Josie scoring. Like you just don't know when that run is going to matter. And obviously it ended up being huge for us. But I mean, obviously a lot of people talking about our hitting that day, but like we're not worried. We just kind of do our own thing, go in, regroup, get better this week, and kind of go after Georgia.
And then how happy are you guys to not be asked about Mississippi State anymore?
Very, very happy.
Were you tired of hearing about that, or was that just?
I wouldn't say necessarily tired. I would just say it's kind of a growing moment for us. So it's a moment that we could reflect on and try to get better from it. I mean, it is something that we might have felt coming into this regional this past weekend, but I mean, another growing moment, getting to game 2, just having to execute.
For Devyn and Jahni, just the element of speed that you guys bring, the ability to leg out a base hit and then extend a single into a double, maybe steal a base. How much does speed lend to your game personally and then to the team's success this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always played for Florida State softball ever since I've watched it. It's something this program has taken pride in. So coming in and talking about base running, talking about being smart base runners, I think when we get to the point where we can make decisions on our own and kind of have Raptor and T-Will on the backside helping us out a little bit, we kind of get that one step faster and get those 60 feet a lot quicker. But it's huge for us. We take pride in it. Running out everything, you just never know what's going to happen. We put a lot of pressure on teams, and we also take pride in that. So just being able to leg out those singles or maybe put pressure on the defense, whether that's them making a miscue or something like that, definitely part of our game plan and mine as well.
The scouting in softball is better than it's ever been. Do you change your approach based on what you learn with the scouting approach, based on the pitcher in the circle, or do you basically try to stay consistent and do what you do no matter who's in the circle?
I'd say consistency obviously plays a big part of it, but I'd also say I mean, you can't really approach a rise ball pitcher like a drop ball pitcher. So going in it with the game plan, what are your cues? How are you going to execute a swing? Timing, that I feel like those things are huge and critical when it comes to scouting nowadays, because we have the ability to see like numbers and see them on film before we see them. So I feel like making those big adjustments throughout the week obviously helps going into the game and having a game plan, or if you fail, what can you do next at bat to, I guess, render the situation or get a hit the next time. So yeah, huge.
You feel the same way, Devyn?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of our game. It's pretty cool. I think the game's grown a lot just since Jahni and I have been in there, like being around it as a little kid, and then now obviously all the ESPN games. Like I talked about it yesterday, just from my freshman year to now, even you have so much more film and so much more technology. So it's definitely part of the game now, and you kind of gotta learn as we grow. And I think our coaches have done a great job in helping us with that and kind of doing the most that we can with it to get ready for the weekend.
Is it almost too much sometimes?
I like it, but maybe for Coach doing all of that, I feel like it is a lot. But I mean, I like all the information I can get. I want, for sure.
Devyn, you talk about, the growth of the game, coming up this weekend with one of the games being on ESPN, ESPN2, tickets selling out in a minute. I mean, what is a moment in this series going to mean for you guys? I mean, thinking outside about growing the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just huge, like, to see our tickets out in a minute, to be on ESPN. There's games on ABC this weekend. I mean, it's just to see the game of softball. Like, you come in and you want to grow as a person in a program, and then you want to grow the program, and then you want to grow softball as a whole. So to be a part of that, to play good softball, to play it the right way. I think I've talked a lot to Coach about, I feel like you don't really get into situations nowadays with teams where it's like you're butting heads, like it's nitty gritty or talking trash. Like, it's like, we know how hard softball is. You're really good. We're really good. We're really just trying our best to, do our best, give our team the best chance to win. So it's just super cool to be a part of and kind of see other athletes excel. How do you excel? It's super cool to be a part of, and kind of happy to be here this weekend.
Coach, on Sunday, you had 2 chances to win one game, so that kind of puts you in a different mind space, I guess, in terms of how you want to use your pitchers. Is that almost kind of a better thing, being in a super region like that? It's more freeing. You don't have to worry about holding cat. You can just kind of let everything loose.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to allude to what Jahni was saying, I think the Mississippi State was a learning experience for me, especially how I manage pitchers. And I think with Danielle and Kat last year, we had a really good 1-2 punch and very confident in our abilities. And then you get into 14 innings and you start to get that feeling of like, wow, they won the first game. What if it happens in the second? To this year, like, how do we manage our pitchers and be able to be in a good spot to manage 14 innings? And I think that was the mindset coming in. It's like, we got 14 innings. If we get it in 7, awesome. If not, then we're 14. Where last year's a little like, let's win the first one. And then, we got to game 2 and anything can happen. And wasn't guaranteed for us either, but I think we took a different approach. So I think we had a really good learning lesson. I know for me as a pitching coach, I had a really good learning lesson from last year and felt different this year and felt more comfortable. And in between games, went down the locker room, like, in a good spot, got good information. Let's make the adjustments and move forward. And Kat was fully prepared to do what she needed to do and rocked it. So yeah, very nice.
Not to give away too much of your information, but yeah, the comment was made. Kat made a comment after the game about her and Michaela being able to adjust to what the hitters are doing. Mm-hmm. Is that even them communicating among themselves without even looking at you guys?
Yeah.
Is that part of the experience that they have?
Yeah, definitely part of the experience. Again, you just rely on your season's book of work, right? So we debrief every inning. So what'd you see? What were the hitters doing? Are they on the line? Are they back of the box, front of the box? How are the swings? They said we sit in here, we watch video, we get a game plan going in. So we have a game plan going in for tomorrow night. Maybe first at bat, it's like, whoa, different game plan. We got to switch to plan B or plan C. So so it may not be written up exactly like you thought. You have to make some adjustments. So when you get veteran battery and the two of them work together for a long time, then they're like, oh, okay, now we know what plan B is. We can go right away. Or maybe a rookie, you'd be like, I don't know, how do we do plan B? So you got to kind of grow through that. So I think Kat's a very smart pitcher. She knows exactly how she's pitching and what she's trying to do. And then Michaela's very connected to her. And I would also say the defense too. I know up the middle, like Jahni's got me. She's got Kat, she's got Michaela, Dev's in on it. Their conversations are going pitch by pitch, and it doesn't have to be long ones. You know, it's definitely, they know what they're trying to get the hitters to do. So, so I think that just goes back to the smart part of the game.
I guess for Devyn, Jahni, I mean, I know you guys are sick of talking about last year at Mississippi State, but to get to this point, I know this isn't the end goal. We have another goal ahead of us, but to get back to this point, is it like, okay, we're done with that, we can move on? Just to get back here, how does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing. Obviously, it was here in 21, and that was a wild ride of a season, but kind of talked a little bit about it yesterday. Just Coach and the coaching staff and our ability to debrief last year kind of made it not a thing yesterday. Like, we were fully prepared to go win game 2. Like, we were not going to let what happened last year happen again. And I think it's because of the preparation. Like, we talked about it. We talked a lot about not sweeping things under the rug. You know, I think we look back on our season and so many great wins last year and maybe let a few things go. And this year we just didn't happen. Like, our win against Florida a few weeks ago, we won, didn't like how we won, came in here the next day, talked about it for a few hours. Like, we just were not going to let it happen again. So I think it was just very calming. Like, tired of talking about it, maybe, but is it super cool to see how we flipped a switch and see how we can completely turn around, like, and take that lesson and use it this year. Just super proud of this group, and it was super cool to be a part of.
Yeah, I'd say on that same note, we've kind of taken a part of like our safeties, like what are our safeties, and what can we improve on from game 1 to game 2 or game 1 to game 3, whatever it is. So just holding accountable ourselves and our teammates, I feel like has been a big like changing point, I guess you could say, in the right direction as far as accountability goes and how can we improve for the next pitch.
Safeties come from a video of the Blue Angels back in the day. They would go up and they run flight patterns and they come back and they'd sit in a room and talk about, man, like, this was really cool, I did this, but I kind of cut my wing this way, or I could have prepped this way. And they get up in their room and just, you know, talk about how they could be better, even though it was successful. So we call those safeties, and that's what we do on debrief days.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Yeah.